Hello, this is my Gran Turismo 7 settings for the PlayStation 5. I'm currently using a Fanatec wheelbase 8Nm boost kit along with the McLaren GT3 V2 steering wheel. I've been using this for just over a year now, and I also have this attached to the GT Omega Prime Light. I have made some adjustments to the Prime Light. I originally had the wheel deck attached to this, and I purchased the Track Racer TR1 CSL DD side mount. I had to make some manual adjustments as it was too narrow to fit to the rig. So I actually went to a local hardware store called Screwfix and picked up some M8 70mm bolts along with some M8 washers, and that was just really to attach it to the rig and make sure it was actually rock solid. I will do another video and post that here. Most of our videos are online through live videos, but I will start to make videos and be posting them as well. What I'm going to do today is just show you my settings that I currently use for Gran Turismo 7. I'm currently using the PS5 with the Samsung 4K 120Hz monitor. I do have the PlayStation VR 2. Currently use that quite a lot. The immersion is just unbeatable for any other racing game that I've tried. And as you know, with the PlayStation and stuff, we don't have the opportunity to have triple screen setups or anything like that at all, like PC gamers do. It might be something in future that Sony might implement. However, the PlayStation VR 2 is absolutely incredible. The immersion that you get, the field of view and stuff like that is just absolutely fantastic. Able to look into the corners as you're braking, judging your braking angle and so on and so forth. Your steering angle as you're turning into the corner is absolutely fantastic. So take you through the in-game settings that I have first, and then I'll take you through the wheel settings that I have too. I won't be able to show you the wheel settings as I'm obviously streaming this, so get into options here, and my display settings I have set at prioritise frame rate for the graphics priority, and also got it set to 120Hz output, as you can see here. If I go into the saturation, set to 100 and my exposure set to 0.2. This is going to be subjective to what screen you're using and your own personal preference, really. As I've said, this is just going to be my personal settings, and if it helps anybody out, then fantastic. So a sound volume here, I've got everything set to 0, race sound effects set to 5, just sound effects only, and just kept everything kind of an even queue. I've got broadcast mode on because I do stream live, and it's just to prevent any sort of copyright infringement on YouTube. Race difficulty, I've got it set to hard, and going over to controllers, the one that I use here is the Fanatec CSL Elite steering wheel. To be fair, really this is just, I would imagine, for the button outputs. With the McLaren GT3 V2, it isn't a listed wheel here, and any of the wheels that are listed I do not have and I do not use. Obviously Fanatec do have an affiliation with Gran Turismo for their GT3 Pro. However, it's not the wheel that I managed to get at the time. I did opt for the kind of Formula style wheel instead of just the basic round diameter wheel, just because I do like to play Formula 1 as well, 2022. So going into the settings here, I do have a couple of buttons that is not available on the McLaren GT3. So the L2 and R2 buttons just do not, there's nothing that I can map on the steering wheel to enable me to use these buttons here. I think it is just that's the one limitation of the wheel. Otherwise than that, with the 300mm diameter wheel, it's really fantastic for being able to turn in. You feel as if you get a lot more control compared to other wheels that I've seen and looked at reviews on before I actually pulled the trigger and bought this setup just over a year ago now. So going to the wheels settings here, we have the orange paddles on the wheel is L1 and R1, so I've got my left orange paddle set as gear down and my right orange paddle as set as gear up. triangle button reverse, square to change view, circle for the handbrake, X to flash high beams. My R3 button is set to nitrous overtake. It's not something I really use a lot in this game, unless you're doing a custom race. I've got my dial, as you can probably hear it clicking away when I'm moving around, is set to just left, right, up and down, and my L3 button is set to look back. I can use the alternative paddle shifters, the analog paddle shifters that are below the orange shifters on the wheel, and that enables me to look left and right if I'm not using the PlayStation VR 2. Going to the wheel settings, you won't be able to see what I'm doing here, but when you click the button just above the blue dial in the middle of the GT3 steering wheel, there's a wee black button. You click on there and it takes you to any one of 5 settings that you can have set in the wheel as presets. So under the sensitivity, I have it set to auto. The force feedback strength, I have that set to 100. The force feedback scale, I have that set to peak. The natural damper, I've got that set to 3. The natural friction, I've got that set to 5. The natural inertia, I've got that set to 1. Force feedback interpolation, I've got that set to 1 as well. Force feedback intensity is 100. Force feedback effective percentage, I've got that set to 100. The spring effective percentage is to 100. The damper effect percentage is set to 100 as well. The MPS motion is set to auto, and I use the Fanatec CSL Elite V2 pedals. They are actually set with the braking force of 40, I believe. Oh. Yeah, I've got that set to 40 as well. So what I'll do just now is we'll jump into a quick race. I'll just get into the GT World Championship, just the first race on, what's the track again? Deep, let me see. Yeah, Deep Forest Raceway, that's the one. So I'll go here, and you can actually see I'm not using the VR just now, so you'll be able to see obviously what I'm doing here. So just start the race. The car that I'm currently using just now is one that I generally like to use. It's the Grid 2 Honda NSX Concept GT16. I have had to use the power restrictor, as I can show you here, using racing softs. Is it output or power restrictor? Let's see. Yeah, output adjustment. So I have had to move that down to 77. As you can see, if it's set to 100, and you look over on the left hand side, it's underneath performance points, it's 846, and in order to get into this race it has to be 800 or less. So in order to do that, I've had to restrict the power on the car. If I go to 78, I'm just over the 800 mark. Previously, to update 1.36, I had this set to 78, or 7, maybe even 80, I think was the output adjustment. And from the update, there's something that's obviously been changed with the car, so I have had to bring that down a slight touch again and bring it down to 77. So as you can see, it's 797.23 in the performance points, which is going to be enabling me to be eligible to enter this race. I do use racing softs. To be fair, depending on your luck with the races and stuff like that, sometimes when you get to maybe the Spa race is not too bad, but the third race, I can't remember what it's called, but sometimes you do start to get quite heavy rain. So it is a bit of kind of practice and stuff like that. You just generally need to drive really slow in order to get to the point where you're not spinning out and stuff like that, and you will see the AI spinning out in front of you and stuff. And just get into the pit lane and kind of change to your tyres. I do have all the sets of tyres for this car. So really what you're looking for is depending what you're looking to do. So depending on how heavy the rain is, you can really have heavy wet tyres or your kind of intermediates. Racing softs give me the most grip and stuff like that as well. As these races aren't endurance, and as there is no tyre wear or fuel consumption in this sort of race, then it's not really something I need to worry about at the present moment in time. With obviously other races, you can get tyre wear and fuel consumption as well, and I'll show you that in a second after we do this. So let's jump into the race, let's see what can happen. Now, to be fair, I have been trying to dial in settings for Assetto Corsa Competizione on PS5. I just generally feel that the steering is very, very light. I just generally feel it's too light for my liking, and it can cause me to oversteer and spin out the car. It's not something that I've just tried once and back to, and just not bothered with it at all. It's something that I've tried quite a lot. So in all fairness, that's been since I've got this, really, since I've got the CSLDD CSLDD wheelbase. I've been trying since I've got it, since just over a year, and I've tried various different settings and so on and so forth. With the current update, it's 1.9 something. Tried various settings that I've seen online on YouTube for that as well, and I've had just no luck with it at all. In all fairness, I've really been playing Gran Turismo since the original one came out on the PlayStation 1, and with that, it's just really kind of been more to my preference as a driving game. It just is all about personal preference, really. There is no right and wrong. Other people might disagree with what I've said in regards to Assetto Corsa Competizione, but as I said, it's all personal preference. These settings and stuff is what I prefer to drive with. It's not going to be suitable for everybody, and it really depends on the equipment you have and stuff like that as well. So, as I've said, take these settings with a pinch of salt, play about with them. You can see obviously what happens. See if we can take a few positions here. Nipped in front there, do the overtake. Into 10th on the second lap. It's not too bad. I wonder if Gran Turismo might introduce the AI Sophie as a difficulty option in maybe a future update. It would be nice, as I'm playing obviously on the flat 2D screen just now, if you could adjust your field of view. I do like the field of view adjustments that you can get. Whoa! That you can get on. That's a bad spin out. Whoa! I do like the field of view adjustments that you can get on Assetto Corsa Competizione. I think it's quite a detailed game. There is a lot of settings to dial in. User friendliness and stuff like that can be a bit daunting. There is a lot of settings in there that I currently don't understand. Personally, for me, I don't drive in real life. I've got the kind of option where I know for a fact that I would just be stupid behind the wheel. So for me personally, it's not something that I would really want to risk anybody's life for my stupidity, getting overexcited behind the wheel and driving fast. So for me, this is why sim racing for me is kind of the safest option, because as you've seen, I've just spun out there, hit a wall, no damage, no one's hurt, and obviously from there everybody can walk away happy. So let's see if we can gain a few positions back here and get some first placement, or you could crash into the wall. Well, let's go. Back into 12th. Got some catching up to do here. As you can see, first and second place are quite far ahead on the top right hand side of the screen. See if we can make up some time here. I've got the traction control set to 1. You don't have the powertrain or anything like that at all to use because there is no fuel consumption on this race. And brake balance is just set to dead centre in the middle as well. Back to where we were. Can we take him on the inside? Yes, we can. Come round. Long straight. Pick up some speed here. Now generally I do have the settings off with showing the track and obviously position and your time and so on and so forth, because I do use a digital dash. Unfortunately in Gran Turismo the only thing, it's very hard to obviously gauge, but there is an icon that shows you the tyre temperature, but it's not very accurate in my opinion. I do use an old Nexus 7 Google tablet that I've got on a stand that's attached to the front of the Fanatec CSL base, and I use that with an Android app on there that I've had to purchase, which gives me the telemetry data from the game, and it currently telling me my tyre temperatures and so on and so forth as well, so that's quite handy as well. In all fairness, when you are locked into the race, it's not something that I generally would be looking at for long periods of time. It's just a general glance, especially obviously if I've not got anything on the screen to show me fuel consumption and tyre temperature and so on and so forth. But it does what I need it to do, and obviously from there is going to be better and more superior setups to what I have. I've seen crazy videos and stuff like that from a lot of YouTubers online, and boosted media for example is probably one of the most insane setups that I've seen. 365 inch screens, really highly detailed field of view, just absolutely insane to watch his videos, and it's one of my friends that actually introduced me to his channel, and in all fairness to him, look, the guy's absolutely on point with everything that he discusses. He's very highly knowledgeable, but with the expense that PC parts can cost and having to upgrade quite frequently and so on and so forth depending on the games that have been released, you can future-proof your PC, but in all fairness I would say that the price point that the PS5 has come in at, and for what it's offering you and so on and so forth, and just the ease of plug and play, for me is very good. Ultimately I would really love to have a triple screen setup for the times that it's maybe a bit too warm wearing the VR hat for long periods and so on and so forth. But for what I have access to at the present moment, I'm very blessed and very lucky to have this, so I cannot complain at all. All my opinions are just subjective and they may differ from yours, so if you have got any other comments or anything like that, please drop it down, or questions, please drop it in the description. If you like the content you see, please like and subscribe as well. Share this video around out there. This is the thing about the sim racing community, I really do like the fact that everybody tries to help each other out. There's not a lot of negativity and so on and so forth. Not that I've experienced personally, obviously I have heard different things online, but that's going to be subjective to that person's point of view. So we're now back into 4th place, we're basically a corner behind top 3 positions. See if we can get a podium placement here. Seem to be 8 seconds behind 3rd place, so let's see if we can make up some time. On the fight. Whoa! Oh! Maybe this is just going to be out of reach for me today for this race. unless I had some sort of nitrous to come bombing down this straight, I'm pretty much going to be looking at a forced position here. Yeah, we'll just cross the finish line now. Maybe if I didn't crash a couple of times, it would have been on a higher placement. But that's just how it goes. There we go. So a wee fourth place there, not too bad. Going to round 2, Spa. And we'll see how we go from here. A 5-lap race. Probably say this is probably one of my favourite tracks in all fairness with you. With Spa here. There we go. Let's get into it. Let's see how we do. Starting at 20th at the back. The other thing is as well, with the custom races and stuff, I don't quite get why it's always a rolling start, because as you can see, first place is quite a significant distance away from when you're starting at the back. And they're constantly on the move, so my opinion would be is why is some of these races not optional to have, especially against the AI, just a grid start without having to do a custom race. Because when you're doing the custom races and stuff, even though you maybe set it to professional, you're not really getting as much credit rewards as what you can get from winning these kind of races and stuff like that as well. I think the top spot here, if you come first, is 100,000 credits. Then it kind of tapers down the further down the positions you go. So let's see, just took him in the outside, a wee bit of slide there. Get these tyres warmed up a wee bit more. Quite love that corner, you can fly around there so quick. I do like the kind of immersion that you get when you hit that apex correctly and you do hit the accelerator at the right time, and you can come flying around the corner on the exit. A bit of a hairpin corner there. Rejig right, rejig left. Let's see how we can get on. See if we can kind of get a bit of a slipstream from Portilla here. I knew he was going to do that, there we go. And the other thing as well that I noticed the other day is currently with the licenses that you can do in Gran Turismo, for each license that you get gold, if you get all bronze you get rewarded a car, if you get all gold you get rewarded another car. So at the present moment in time, for quite a while actually I didn't really bother with them because I unlocked all the licenses that were all bronze. So I started going back through them all, and started getting gold. Now, in some of the ones that I've came across, they've just seemed extremely difficult. And I was looking up a couple of videos on YouTube to maybe get any hints or tips on how to do it, and kind of your braking zones, and kind of what speed you're kind of coming in at. And what I was noticing from some of the videos that were popping up maybe just a year ago was that the times and stuff on the licenses seem to have been changed. And according to a Reddit post that I read back in March of this year, there was an update to Gran Turismo, and with the update they were fixing some problems that they had in the licenses, which was some of the cars weren't loading with the tyres that they're supposed to, so if it was like a dirt track or whatever, they weren't loading with dirt tyres, and so on and so forth. But I couldn't really find anything online to say that they were updating what times you would require for getting gold. So upon looking at some of these videos, I'm now on the special license for getting gold, and I believe it's special license 3 or 4. I believe it's the times 58.3 you need to get. The fastest that I've managed to get is 58.464, and I just cannot get any quicker. I've tried using the controller, I've tried using the steering wheel, and I just cannot get any quicker at all. And it's quite frustrating, because obviously you've had players that have maybe completed these licenses at an earlier time and managed to ascertain all the gold and unlock the cars, or get the car rewards, sorry, should I say. So for me, I don't know why they would have updated the times and made it harder for the Gran Turismo player base to ascertain gold in all the licenses. Obviously every player is going to be different. There's going to be players that are far superior to me in this game, without a doubt. One of the licenses I was trying to do the other day, I was following the current Olympic 2023 champion, Killian, I believe. He was at the Gran Turismo championships there in Amsterdam, I believe, for France, and I could not keep up with his goals whatsoever. He was just absolutely flying. Perfect turning, perfect braking. Well, obviously that's going to be through practice, and this is why he's a champion, obviously. So everybody's going to be different in the levels of expertise when it comes to sim racing and their chosen sim racing game. But that's what it's all about. It's all about the kind of competition and so on and so forth. Personally, I don't really understand why that change was made to the licenses. However, it might be something that could be addressed in the future from Gran Turismo, but we'll just need to wait and see. And we've just pulled into 5th position here. Overtaking the 4th. See, that was the analog paddle there to look to the left. As you can see, I can pull the right one, looks to the right, but it's a bit clunky on a 2D screen. It's different on the VR. You can just look left or right very quickly, and you're kind of not really taken away for your peripheral vision and seeing what's coming ahead of you if you're entering into a corner with another car. You can let me know in the comments, did any of you watch the Amsterdam Manufacturers Cup, and I believe, I can't remember the name of the other cup that was available to watch through the game. Did any of you guys get the predict the winner and get the maximum amount of credits? I believe it was like 2 million credits, I believe, for predicting the winner. I was actually very fortunate to choose, I think it was the Nations Cup, that was the other name of the one. I was very fortunate to predict the winner and managed to get the 2 million credits as well. But it was quite an exciting race, especially when the dynamic weather came into play and it started to rain. the Spanish driver. I can't remember the name of the guy, but he was absolutely on point. He won driver of the day, driving that Porsche GT3. He was just absolutely phenomenal, and it was just watching the first place Subaru, and you could see the guy as they were showing kind of the point of view. There was a few specks of rain at Spa. You could see the point of view, showing the two drivers as they were driving behind the wheels on the rig, as well as the in-game content as well, and it was just really good to see just the level of anxiety that was kind of coming through the guy that was in the first place, and he was in racing hard tyres, and I believe the Porsche was in mediums, but the Porsche was just absolutely on point. His driving skills were absolutely amazing. Can we pull first position here? Nope, we can't. Oh, he just cut in front there at the last second. Let's see. Last lap. Let's see if we can do it. I don't get that as well, and as you can see my first lap it says 2 minutes 18, and then it's just come up saying that this is my best lap of 2 minutes 20. So I don't know if it's a visual bug, I don't know if it's maybe something that needs to be updated in a future update with Gran Turismo, but obviously with that it's nearly a 2-second difference, so why is it saying my later time's my best time? I don't get that at all. So, let's see what we can do here. I think we'll get him, I think we'll get him. That tyre seal there. Temperature of the track must have changed as well, because I'm noticing the tyre temperatures dipping down on the telemetry there. When we originally started the race you were looking at maybe kind of like 55, 56, 57 degrees. Now the front tyres have kind of dropped to like 53, 51. Pulled into first place here. Let's see if we can hold it with no mistakes. Just seems to get very, very cloudy, as if it's just about to torrential rain. I don't know if I've got the... yeah, there's a weather radar. Just try and get this race finished before anything happens. Saying it's 3 miles away, so... I think we're all good, we're all good. There we go. The first place there kind of makes up for the first race. A full 12 points. And 100,000 credits for first place. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the stream here just now. And I'm going to post a video with a tour of the sim rig that I have and the equipment that I'm using, just to kind of give you a visual representation of what I was talking about at the beginning of this stream. As I said, if you do like the video, please give a thumbs up, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.